welcome back to Curious Mondays. My name is Pav. Today we'll be talking about nudging and the dark side of nudges, or at least exploring a little bit on my curiosity around the dark side of nudges. It kind of stemmed from this article I read recently that it was really about talking about getting one's aim right. And it's a story about fly in the urinal and how that is probably one of the clearest examples of nudging. This was, I think, in the 1990s in the Dutch airport, where there was a lot of spillage going on in the toilets. So what the manager did is he just went and put stickers of flies on the urinals, and somehow it helped reduce lots of spillage. That is one of the examples that Richard Thaler, he won the Nobel Prize for economics, talks about. He says that's one of his favorite examples of nudging because it's about tweaking, the environment in a way that makes us change how we behave. I find that quite fascinating, but it's also a little bit scary. What Richard Thaler suggests is that we need structure to make decisions, right? Within that is the opportunity to create structures, lead people to making better decisions. That sounds really good from a utopian point of view, where we are given structure to make the right decision, aim properly, reduce spillage, and become better people. But there have been instances where maybe it hasn't been so great, because sometimes the digital world feels like this, where it's like someone just nudging you when you just want to be left alone, and saying, hey, I'm here, do you want to buy this, do you want to buy this? And feels a little bit annoying sometimes, to me at least. Like, can you just leave me alone? And that's why this thing called digital detox has come about, right? Because people get tired. Push notifications, reminders, exit intent. I'm about to leave a page and they go like, hey, wait a minute, before you go, could you give us your email address? I'm guilty of applying some of these nudge tactics myself. But then there's a bit of a tipping point, I feel, retargeting, pop-up ads, Facebook memories, Instagram archives, how we are primed to choose certain things, how sometimes things are auto-completed for us, or, hey, we have already added this to your basket for you. These things, we are exposed to it all the time. If you have enabled push notifications, you're likely to see something like this. If you're on Twitter, you see a spinning wheel that the app is loading more content. In fact, the spinning wheel thing is quite prevalent in a lot of other portals. Like, I think Reddit is quite similar. If you're using Pinterest, perhaps, there's lots of that. And that's tied to this thing called a variable ratio schedule. And that got me a little bit interested. Okay, so which other places use a variable ratio schedule or variable reward system? It turns out slot machines, casinos, all those use a variable ratio schedule, because our reinforcement is provided after a varying set of responses. We don't know what we are going to get. That's why we end up scrolling through Pinterest for a long time, binge watching Netflix, or you intend to watch one video on YouTube and end up spending a lot more time than you anticipated. So I wonder, from an ethical point of view, if you're doing marketing or product or sales, what could we do better? And where have we gone wrong sometimes? A bit of a satire on nudging, on the bad concept of nudging, is Cow Clicker. So Ian Bogost, he created a Facebook app where you do nothing but click on virtual cows just to hear moo. And he did this in a satirical manner because he just wanted to use the same tactics and the same game mechanics as all the Farmville games. And he soon realized that it exploded. People became completely addicted and obsessed with a game where you did nothing but click on virtual cows to hear a satisfying moo. And that's when, from an ethical perspective, he said, well, this is actually bad because I'm manipulating people in the wrong way. So he closed it down and he called it the cowpocalypse. And it just goes to show sometimes a simple click can drive us to a certain kind of addiction. Even when it came to vaccination, trying to get people, nudging them, like, in Ohio, Ohioans who are vaccinated could win up to $1 million in a weekly draw that would be held over 5 weeks. I don't know if this was a success or not, but it just got me thinking, why do we have to do things this way? I don't have an answer to it, but it just got me thinking that, wow, these are quite big nudges to get people vaccinated. And it made me curious on how maybe public policy and behavioral sciences, or public policy and nudging, could work. If you go to bi.team, this is a behavioral insights team. The UK government has nudge units within the government body, and what they do is they look into behavioral insights, and I really wonder what nudges they are creating around us. I don't know if they're good or bad, whether they're sinister or not. The UK government did at one point send out reminders to those who didn't pay tax on time, telling them that, hey, you are a minority. And that actually helped improve people paying their tax on time. But could there be other slightly more sinister ways? I don't know. Should it be regulation where rules are clearly defined? Yes, no, allowed, disallowed? Or should it be a nudge where comparisons are made, whether someone's inferior or superior, using terms like minority, or something is, or being excluded or included? So this was when Donald Trump was running for president. This was a pre-checked box. So donors would have to notice this pre-checked box and have to uncheck it. And this was known as the money bomb. And it turned out that they had to return more than $135 million because people didn't realize that it was checked and unwittingly donated to him. And this is another example of a bad form of nudge. I'm glad that the money was returned, but the fact that they were able to actually get $135 million just by a checkbox said quite a bit. This is the manipulation matrix by Nir Eyal. If I'm developing something, if I'm creating a marketing campaign or a product or a service, am I a facilitator? Am I an entertainer? Am I a dealer or peddler? And, on one axis is the maker doesn't use it to the maker uses it. And on the other axis is it doesn't improve the user's life versus materially improving the user's life. My guess is the cow clicker was probably around the dealer section, where it didn't really improve the user's life because all you heard was a moo sound. And the maker didn't use it at all. So it definitely fell into that. A lot of things start off being an entertainer. So like Facebook started off as an entertainer. You could call it a vitamin, feel good thing, but it ends up being a bit more of a peddler, where it becomes more like a painkiller. So I don't know. I just wonder how to make sure that, we are sort of in this situation and we are trying to improve people's lives while ensuring that we use it ourselves rather than digging into this. A lot of times, like the aim is never to be a peddler, like, because you're peddling, like you're getting people addicted to you. But then at the same time, on the flip side, there's this need, like, wait a minute, we need people to be on our platform very often. I think the question I would ask myself is, am I making this person's life better? Am I improving that person's life? And would I do the same thing? And if the answer is no, I'm not going to do the same thing, then that's probably not the right thing to do.
So that's it for today's Curious Mondays. If you like the content, remember to subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and stay curious for the whole week. See you next week. Bye.